Democrat-led states turned partisan battlegrounds as governors clash with their own constituents over stay-at-home orders.
These have been really political rallies. This is not appropriate in a global pandemic. This is racist and misogynistic.
The funding we have put aside to help with fighting this crisis will go to the folks who are doing their part.
The Republicans convinced four Supreme Court justices that the facts don't matter. Now we have the Wild West.
Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, just a few of the focal points for anti-lockdown protests. Their working class voters were vital to President Trump's 2016 victory. So are Democrats repeating some of the same mistakes again this time around? Here with her take, Young Americans for Liberty analyst Kristin Tate. Thanks for coming on. What do you think about this?
Good morning. Yeah, this pandemic response just kind of underlines what we've known for a while now, which is the Democratic Party is no longer the party for the working class. Left-wing leaders are using this pandemic as an excuse to grow the size and scope of state power and just leaving the middle class to suffer. And on a national level, the Democrats have no interest in getting the economy back up and running. In fact, they think a recession is exactly what they need because for the last 3 years, Donald Trump has been campaigning on the incredible economy that we've seen on his watch. But you know what, guys? Just like in 2016, the Democrats could be in for a rude wake-up call this November because working people have been handcuffed at this point, to the point where they are really starting to resent liberal leadership in many of these states. These people have been told to risk everything, their livelihoods, their jobs, their savings, because some left-wing bureaucrats in their state capitals have decided that they need to be on lockdown indefinitely. And by the way, these same bureaucrats enjoy guaranteed taxpayer-funded salaries. Unlike the people they're making decisions for, their jobs are not at risk. So these Democrats, they're just completely out of touch. People are getting angry, and they may have wakened a sleeping giant here.
Yeah, a lot of people are frustrated right now. Kristin, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these numbers. The jobless claims during this coronavirus outbreak: 1.3 million in Michigan, 500,000 in Wisconsin, 1.7 million in Pennsylvania. I'm from Pennsylvania, Kristin. I have a lot of friends and family there, pretty much all of them still there. A lot of people are fed up. I've heard from a number of Democrats over the course of the last few weeks, people saying, look, I think that the president needs to get reelected, even though they may not have felt that way a couple months ago, because he needs to get the economy back on track. So what does that say when you have Democrats saying the president needs to get the economy back on track? Does that mean they don't have the hope that or the confidence, I guess, in their party to be able to do it?
Well, they shouldn't. I mean, Democrats should be working across the aisle with Republicans to get the economy up and running as quickly as possible, but that's just not happening in many of these states. Instead, the Democrats are just using this pandemic to grow government dependence and try to enact these massive wealth transfers from red states to blue states via, bailouts. Joe Biden even said that this pandemic represents an incredible opportunity for Democrats, but I've got to tell you, I don't think that this strategy is going to be a winning one for Democrats when it comes to appealing to voters. Most Americans want to work. They want to be productive and be able to put food on the table for their own families. They don't want to sit in their homes indefinitely begging for government scraps. They don't want to be arrested or handcuffed for walking in public parks or running their own businesses. I mean, it's time to get this country back up and running.
You make a very good point there. Talking about, these states and how important they are to the reelection, the big gamble, though, I think for the president, I want you to talk about this, is what happens if we do see a spike in this virus again? What if people start to reemerge and we have to re-lock down?
Well, that's not going to be good. We need to be reactive to this. And also, I mean, we need to treat each area of the country differently. Every state is not New York. Places like Texas, Arizona, Oklahoma, they have been doing a lot better than like New York City. Even California is doing better than New York. So we've got to treat each part of the country differently. The governors should have control over their own states, which they do. But the governors, unfortunately, some of them are putting partisanship over doing what's best for the American people. So if we see a spike, we need to be able to respond to that and keep people safe, but get people who are not most at risk for this virus back working as quickly as possible.
Yeah, good stuff, Kristin. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Kristin.
Thanks, guys.